Ya lo sabes. Recap day.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dude. It's so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because if he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, be being a great warrior. Maybe with a Mexican. I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it.
Good timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Buenos días a todos los que nos escuchan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. This is Sunday Recap Long Live Boxing EnVivo Podcast. Aquí, Manny, siempre en vivo, Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Como siempre, we're going to break it down like it is, like it should be, like the fans want it, without any kind of BS, hated, debated, whatever it is. We are here to
masturbate it.
Man, talk about a great weekend in boxing. I mean, I think I spent almost 8-9 hours watching boxing. I'm not overdosed in boxing. I wish I can have it again today, but we got a separate little space for football as well. But boy, man, weren't we up for a treat? And we talked about it last week that we had that awesome afternoon delight, and then in a combination of all these other fights in different networks flipping back and forth, and I mean, it was just sensational. Even the Zone had some fights out there. It was like, wow, I'm glad we have that new technology that pit, and then you put a bunch of screens on it and you can able to at least enjoy some of these fights with different networks in one single day. Wasn't it amazing, guys?
Oh,
unbelievable, man. Like,
and to top it off,
there's nothing
women boxing too. Love it. Love it. We got a lot to talk about that.
Boxing overload, man. I loved it. I was in heaven. Not just that, but there was also other sports going on, but mainly the main focus was on boxing, and then everything else was just gravy on top.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, man. And we had to get it kicked off with the ladies. Ladies first.
Flight. Afternoon delight. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
All right, so I'll go ahead and say it. The ladies stole the show. They were phenomenal. They lived up. They surpassed the hype, expectations, whatever you want to call it. But I left thoroughly entertained, wanting more. Also, a big part of wanting more is the fact that there were entertaining fights for the co-main and the main event were phenomenal. But we go back to that debate, which we can talk about a little bit here, not just the fights themselves, but man, do we really need to rethink that 2-minute, 3-minute thing again? Because it seems like we had that conversation before with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and here we are again, even on a greater scale, because you had multiple fights. The entire card was a female card at the O2. Shout out to UK for pulling it off. Another thing I wanted to say as well, too, that's look for the fact that 20,000 people there. They had to reschedule because of the passing of the Queen, and for everyone to return. And for them to still perform at the level
that sharp with the delay in training camp,
that's phenomenal. So, shout out and
super easy,
unbelievable. So, without further ado, to my brother Hopper, what do you think? I came away thoroughly impressed and blown away by what I saw and what I witnessed. What was your thoughts on the fight? And then we'll kind of go first to the Michaela Mayer Baumgardner fight. Then we'll go to the main event versus Carissa and Savannah Marshall.
All right, check it out. Great night of action. Great fights. I was all into the women fighting. But here's what I saw. I saw Michaela Mayer win that fight. I'm sorry. I saw Michaela Mayer win that fight. At worst, a draw for her, but she did not lose that fight. I don't think Michaela Mayer lost that fight. She lost the first 2 rounds. Yes, Baumgardner was in control, aggressive. Her footwork was on point, but something in the corner before the 3rd round started. Michaela and her team swallowed their pride, and they said plan A is not working. So they shifted to plan B. And that was putting the pressure on her with the jab. And then she started finding a home for that right hand in the third round. I think something shifted, something changed, something clicked. They went to plan B, and it was working. Her pressure was effective. Her jab, Michaela Mayer has a beautiful jab. Like she has one of the best jabs in the game, regardless of sex, male or woman. Her jab is beautiful. I thought Michaela swept the middle rounds, and it wasn't up until the 7th round that Bumgarner started fighting again with a little more sense of urgency. Well, it wasn't up until the blood started trickling from Michaela Mayer's fight that kind of boosted Bumgarner's morale a little bit, because she started throwing her punches a little more. But then back in the 8th, it was a little more back. Michaela was back in control, and I thought it was definitely close. It was competitive at times, but I thought it was a clear decision for Michaela Mayer. Like I said, at worst, it was a draw. I just felt she was in more control. Her ring generalship of that fight was in the full display. After those first 2 rounds that she lost, she knows, yes, she did lose those first 2 rounds. Like something clicked. So credit to her and her corner for making the necessary adjustments. Unfortunately, they didn't come out with the victory that I saw, and many others did as well. But that's my take on the Michaela Mayer Alicia Bumgarner fight.
No, that's fair, man. And hey, you know your boxing, you know your stuff. You do actually box. You got your son. Shout out to him. He's in the too, making it happen. Yeah, and you can't deny, results in regards to that jab was landing all night. Bumgarner's not hard to hit for sure. But
yes, that's another point too, Gringo. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was another thing. Bumgarner was making it easy for Michaela Mayer to land because Bumgarner kept her hands low. Like she would always keep her hands low. And I mean, for a fighter that skilled like Michaela, I mean that's slim pick. That's easy pickings to land that overhand right, and it kept landing, and she still wouldn't. I don't know. That's her and her corner. You talked about that and keeping those hands low. The way she fights kind of reminded me of remember Sergio Martinez, the way he used to fight, kind of with his hands all low. That was Bumgarner. Yeah. I'm like, no, you might want to not play around like that at that level.
Yeah, definitely not. But she may feel differently.
She won, right? So
won the fight. And we'll take a look at the numbers in a minute. But first, hear from my brother from another mother, Manny.
Manny,
brother.
The experience, man. I think Mayer showed a little bit more experience and more maturity when it comes to the boxing skills. Definitely that first round, Alicia showed her courage and her dedication to want to become unified champion. And but here's the thing, Alicia was just nothing when it comes to her arsenal. A jab here to the body, maybe here right hand. There were no uppercuts, there were no combinations thrown. And if you look at the round first, I think that was Alicia's round. But coming up in the second, third, fourth round, Michaela kind of timed her jab. And that's when she started. That's when Mayer started to really capitalize in, tapping into her game plan to make sure that she had landed some great punches. I think she schooled her throughout several rounds. The key rounds here, 1, 8, and 10. And when you look at the numbers, and my brother Sean's gonna, pretty much put them up in a few minutes, but you do see that it was very even. It was not a robbery. It was not a robbery. I think it was more of what the judges were able to see. And, it was devastating for Michaela Mayer. I think she knew she had won the fight. Clearly, some of us did see that. But at the end of the day, it just didn't happen for her. Michaela looked sharp. My brother Hopper just really, broke it down exactly like it was. I want to have an opportunity to watch the fight again. Close fights are not robberies, but it is worthy of a rematch. And I would have not preferred to have it as a draw. At one point, I said to myself, well, maybe those 3 rounds, that first round was a key, and then the 10th round. If you look at the numbers, you probably will say, well, Alicia threw more, Alicia landed more. Therefore, if you're going to go through the CompuBox numbers, you should know that, hey, if she threw more, if she landed more, then she got the round. And so Alicia should have Michaela should have pressured a little bit more in that last round, but I think she felt a little comfortable. She had the fight in her pocket, and she just didn't really go at it. I was expecting a little bit more. When we talk about the main event, that's what I was expecting with these two amazing, talented women. I was expecting a brawl. I was expecting bomb shots. I was expecting combinations thrown in there. I mean, and it just didn't happen. It was just a plain fight, which all the hype that was brought by the true hate, we didn't really see anything in it. And at the end of the day, judges saw Alicia Baumgartner winning the fight. She kept on with the trash talking. It wasn't a very sensational win for her, but congratulations. You are unified and, on your way up there.
Yeah, definitely. And this is one where I agree that the numbers don't tell the whole story. That's why you need to actually watch the fight, because if you look at it, looking at the numbers, which we're about to.
I cannot believe my eyes.
Taking a look at the numbers. So Michaela Mayer landed 104 out of 361, 27 body shots landed, 29%. Her jabs were 61 to 229 thrown, 27%. Power 43 of 132, 33%. So you look at over on the other hand to the winner, Alicia Baumgartner 116 to 335, 15 body shots landed. I thought they were going to both go to the body more, honestly. 35%. The jabs was 34, 131, 26%. And power, she took the lead there at 82 of 204, 40%. So the one thing that stands out to me, and I'll go ahead and say I scored the fight a draw, honestly, because I saw that.
Look at the rounds, 1-8 and 7.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
It is. I'm saying, yeah.
It is a close fight. It was a close fight.
It would be a great sensational rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the first 3 round. Now, I did see it obviously shifting for Mayer, where they had an adjustment, but I thought that Baumgartner was still able to get in there and try to land that overhand right. She did have some weird movement in there, kind of fighting around trying to avoid getting hit and avoid that jab, but in fact she actually kind of ran into it during the middle rounds. So the best round where it really shifted, and you can see right there. So Mayer landed 16 to over 7 landed by Baumgartner. And again, these are just the numbers, not the actual fight as far as ring gentlemanship and everything involved.
Right.
Yeah. It was an even round for 5. So as far as punches landed, and then you see Mayer kind of like how I saw it. It was 12. I gave her 6. But then 7, I believe both of you guys mentioned, 7, I felt that's when the cut happened.
Yep. Yeah, and that's when when the Baumgartner started unloading a little bit. It gave her a little morale boost.
Yeah, and I think that definitely did wake her up, and I think that really kind of shifted the fight. And honestly, I felt like, in fairness to both, I felt, excuse me, I felt that Michaela Mayer she could have put the foot on the gas a little bit more too. For someone that was able to land as often as she was with the jab, because I was thinking that's kind of
that's a really good point.
Respectful of Baumgartner's power.
I think the power was affecting her more than she realized. And even though you could see, I mean, it was because people were talking about, it was a robbery, but the free agent of the fight was, Baumgartner. Everything was in favor for Michaela. The promoter, top rank, boxer. I mean, everything was behind Michaela. So, and then they lost all the belts. You know what I mean? So all the leverage. Yeah. And there wasn't no rematch either, no rematch clause. So, this is how the boxing commission saw it. This is so I saw the draw, and I really could, but I felt Michaela was definitely had her moments where she was dominating and showed that she was the better boxer. That's why I picked her to win. Honestly,
she took advantage of the reach and the outside. But what I like about her is she wasn't afraid to take chances. A boxer like Michaela would have stayed in the outside at all times with the jab and maybe be cautious and throw that right hand. But she was taking shots. She was risking a lot, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see action. I wanted to see a little bit more to that. After the headbutt, I don't know if she kind of pulled back or something kind of triggered or something was wrong with her. That's when I kind of start seeing her just neutral and staying a little bit away from the game plan until you try to go to the championship rounds, and unfortunately. She came short. Now, here's the thing. One important thing, guys, and we talked about this in the past. Every time there was action in the ring, the bell came up. We need to add to this professional elite level boxers. We need to add extra time per round. Why we have to put them apart and separate them from the men? If these talented females are at the elite level and they are well trained to go on into the distance if you have more rounds or even 12 rounds. So I don't know. I wanted a little more in every round, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then also one more thing about this fight before we move on, Gringo. You want the definition of a swing round? Watch the Michaela Mayer, Lisa Bumgarner 8th round. That's about as swing round as it gets. I mean, that was a difficult round to score. Both ladies,
and you obviously they give it to Alicia.
Yeah, and that was the swing round as it gets, man. That's good luck if you're one of the judges trying to judge that fight or that round. But no, like I said, man, both ladies put in a great performance. The animosity, like, you know, I've heard people say it already. The animosity probably wasn't genuine with them. You can see it in the way they were fighting. It was more of a professional. You know, instead of coming, not like the main event where they're trying to knock each other's heads off. This one was more tactical chess, high level chess match. Was still very entertaining. I thought Michaela won, got the better of it, but she came up short on the decision. And hey, sometimes you just can't leave it up to the judges, man. It's a close fight. Wasn't a robbery still. So it was great. It was a good fight.
No, definitely. So let's get a quick clip of the new unified champion, and then we'll get on to the main event.
Did you feel you'd won more comfortably?
Listen, I won. I got the victory, and that's all that matters. I'm the unified champion of the world.
Obviously, after the fight, she was calling for a rematch. Is that something which you think could happen, or?
Michaela's not getting a rematch. She's not. I'm fighting Choi next for undisputed, and that's what we want, and that's what we're going to do.
Of course.
Hey, you know,
that's just
there's no point in fighting if you won. Hey, time.
They should have. You know,
they should have stepped on the gas a little bit more, probably, or secured the rematch clause at least.
And sadly to say, she's just over too confident that she really did, you know, outperform Michaela, and that wasn't the case. And good for her. I mean, it just shows you the true rivalry that these two girls have. That I would love to see a rematch in the future. However, they're different plans.
Bumgarner reminds me of that Tank after he fought Pitbull.
Hey, do
you want a rematch? Hell no.
Hell no. Heck no. Woof. I won. That's all that matters.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not hell no.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get to the main event. I
think that the spotlight should go on top of me.
Yeah, and definitely it was on top of the ladies, and it's well deserved. That main event was El Fuego.
Fight of the year candidate.
Fight of the year, like seriously.
Candidate, yep.
With all the pressure that they had to, you know, the hype and the excitement. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say I was one of the people that mentioned that. I felt like for a while, as far as the promotion, hell, we kicked off with it. The co-main was kind of overshadowing the main event in some aspects as far as the coverage, at least here in the U.S., because there was so much animosity, the back and forth. But as far as like the main event, we see why that was the main event. Those ladies brought thoughts.
Oh man, where to begin? I don't know where. The entrance. Shout out to Clarissa Shields and her entrance. That's probably one of the more entertaining entrances I've seen in a while, where they had that song, "The Champ is Here," and she did a little dance routine with some dancers in the back. I was, hey, it is the entertainment business. You know, entertain me. Yeah. And I thought Clarissa Shields did a good job. You know, it was a short dance, and then she came out to a little flip, which was refreshing. Everything about that was top notch. So shout out to her.
And with a nice
so even before the fight started, we're already
I'm like, whoa,
let's go, all baby. Right. This is main event time. So yeah, I love the way they set it up, man. And shout out to it seems like other promotions over there in the UK and England, like they put a little more sizzle, a little more extra into their ring walks and everything, which is great. I'm all for it. So I'm gonna start there, and then the actual fight happens. My goodness, man! Talk about two ladies who really hated each other. The animosity between these two was real. I mean, they're trying to knock each other's heads off from the word go, or from the very ring of the bell. I thought Shields won. I had her winning. I thought Savannah Marshall was pressuring, but unlike Michaela, her pressure was not effective. It wasn't effective aggression. She kept doing this. Twisting her body to the left and to the right, but she was smothering. It felt like she was smothering her own offense. Like she wasn't as fluid with her punches as Michaela was. I think Marsha was a little more she just kept trying to use her height, her size, trying to lean into Clarissa. But at times it would backfire against her because she would smother her own punches. And Clarissa wasn't having that. Clarissa wasn't just going to stand there like Bumgarner did. No, Clarissa was letting them hands go. And they were fast, the combinations.
She was inviting her. I mean,
yeah,
she was cornered up
she was
most of the
her.
time.
She was baiting her. And Clarissa wasn't having it. Clarissa wasn't going to be bullied. She would let them hands go. She would throw flurries. And Clarissa did look like she started gassing out like in the 5th round, but she would still throw enough punches. Now get off me. She would fire back anytime Savannah Marshall had some success. And I'll tell you what, another thing, Clarissa Shields was up against it because if you look closely, if you look at the ref, he was very, very pro Savannah Marshall. There were times where I felt that Savannah Marshall could have been warned for holding Shields' head and punching at the same time, throwing her elbow to Clarissa. There were just a lot of little dirty tactics that Marshall was using to advantage, and the referee never even gave a warning. And if it's anybody else in a neutral fighter, the ref gives you a warning. Hey, quit putting your elbow in his face. Hey, quit grabbing her head and punching her at the same time. Hey, just a lot of little dirty stuff that Marshall was getting away with, and Clarissa overcame all that. So shout out to her because she was up against it in the backyard in hostile territory. Clarissa did her thing, so we're all proud of her.
And being the favorite, and you're in a place that you feel like you're the underdog because even the national anthem was booed.
They booed the national anthem.
What's up with that? And then you go across the pond, across the other side of the world, and they do the same thing in Australia.
Bro, I thought you guys were classy.
I don't understand.
I'm over here defending our UK brothers. Like, oh, they're the politest people I know. Every time I run into a UK fan, they're so polite, and then they go boo the US national anthem, bro. That's uncalled for, man. That's just disrespectful.
No, it's definitely disrespectful. But yeah, it was an amazing fight. Those ladies definitely did put out. And I'll go ahead and say too that it was mentioned. I know that in the preemptive to the fight, they had an ad promoting the fight and talking about how these ladies are, putting it out there. They're putting their belts on the line, their names, their legacy on the line, and they're doing what the men aren't right now to step up to fight. And it is refreshing. And for them to step up the way they did, I was thoroughly entertained and I loved it. And I felt like, and I think you both encompassed it as well, that they were fighting for more than just themselves. And they both said it as far as even in the press conference, they were fighting for their sport. And I think you could see that in how they were fighting, that, they wanted to put on the show. Just think about it. They came and had a 5-week delay, and everyone came back and performed because I thought they were going to
look like they came back stronger.
Yeah, hungry, promoting, passionate, and we got an amazing event. And like top to bottom, like the card overall, I mean, blood and guts. Those ladies were letting it hang. I know a lot of people, men and women, want to see the 3 minutes. Do you think we will see the 3 minutes ever? And how important is that? You guys think?
I hope so. Is that, like I said earlier, they're extremely super talented and they train well. When you talk about being in the elite level, being unified, or even being a champion, just a 1 belt champion, but then you go to the unified level, and then you go to the undisputed, and you're fighting. And I gotta say, man, Savannah Marshall really, really surprised me. Out of all the fights, all right, that Savannah's had, which is before yesterday was 12. Okay, two of them were gone to the distance, and that was like between the first 4 fights. I had no idea what to expect from Savannah going down the stretch because we've never seen that. The rest of the fights has been knockout, and she pressured. She did really good. She never stepped back. She was the hunted. But Clarissa understands and know her best game plan is to bring him in, bait him in, and come in. I would have loved to see Clarissa working more the jab and being in the outside a little bit, but no, that's not her style. Her style is let's brawl, let's fight, bombs away. So to your question, Sean, I think some fights are well deserved to see a little bit more action. I understand they're trying to protect them, but you still, I say my own words, unfair in treating a sport different from the men. All right.
Yeah,
and so these ladies are capable to do so. And so why not giving an opportunity, especially from an undisputed standpoint, from a big fight, from something that the O2 Theater, the O2 Center it was like packed capacity. What was it? 25,000 people watching a female boxing. headlining main event and co-main event at the top, and there were a couple other good female fighters in there, wouldn't you agree to be able to put a little bit more of a show? It doesn't have to be the full 3 minutes. I mean, it could be, I don't know. It's just we needed a little bit more. And every time Alicia, Savannah will start bringing in some more pressure, ding, ding, here comes the belt. So you're not giving a fair chance to both individuals inside the ring because you're cutting them from time. That's the way I feel about it.
No, and that's fair. Let's also take a quick look at the number.
I cannot believe my eyes.
Man, hold up. All right, so Clarissa Shields, undisputed. All right, so let's take a look at her numbers. 175 total punches landed out of 480, 33 body punches, 36%. Very, very nice. Jabs, they were working them jabs. 44 out of 156, 28%. 131, 324, 40% power. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well done. And those are some nice balanced numbers.
Look at Marshall 9 and 10th round. I mean, she really brought it to the point, like, and you said it, Chopper. I think Clarissa held back a little bit down the stretch, but it was very entertaining. Worthy to see it again. It won't happen, but man, undisputed Clarissa Shield brought the marbles back home.
Yeah, definitely. So Savannah Marshall, her punch numbers, take a look at those. Total punch 136 landed out of 397, 14 body punches, 34%, very respectful. Many jabs landed, but she was really trying to, add the pressure and going on the inside, working, getting on the inside in mid-range. 14 of 140, 12%. Power punches 122 out of 283. 43%. And you definitely did show, and I think that she was definitely wearing on Clarissa for sure. Yeah. So man, the numbers reflect on what we saw. You guys,
and she took a lot of hard punches, man. And I never saw Savannah like really in trouble. To the contrary, the harder Clarissa would hit her, the more she would come forward. That's what I'm talking about, being at the best of the game. And I tell you, very surprised about Savannah. Loved it. And I truly enjoy that main event. Yeah, what I was expecting on the co-main event, it happened in the main event. And
and then
the afternoon.
What did Clarissa Shields say in the post-fight interview? She says she couldn't see from her right eye from the 6th round on or something because she do hit hard. I thought that was giving her respect, and
it reminded me like a Margarito kind of thing that you hit him so hard and he comes forward. It's like, man, I'm hitting him with the best I got. He still comes forward. It's like that's frustrating for someone.
Everything about the main event was that's all we could ask for, man. From the ring entrances to the fight action, Clarissa won, and Clarissa was all decked out in her USA gear. So I know that she was riling up the UK fans and. Good. I'm glad she won. I'm a little upset with the UK fans today.
No, definitely. So yeah, the women showed up and showed out, and shout out to them. It was an amazing card, and much love to them. And we're excited to see where this goes. I think it's the beginning of much more to come. I want to say a shout out, salute to Bruce Gas,
yes,
Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute, brother. Much love. Remy in the
Remy.
Remy here, bro. Remy, what's up, brother? Oh yeah, thank you very much. Great stuff yesterday, bro. Sure. It was amazing. A lot of boxing for sure. So, man, it's crazy. I'll go ahead and say that it shows just how fantastic the women were because we started off with them before we actually got into
Deontay Wilder.
And our brother from another mother is, let it be known, he's not the biggest fan of Deontay Wilder. But here's what his thoughts were going into the fight from last week, if you weren't tuned in.
However, I've never been jumping up and down when it comes to Wilder, and I can't wait to see him back.
That's true. That's true.
He's going to bring a lot.
Happy for him.
It's going to bring a lot into the heavyweights in the future fights that are about to happen. It starts right here for him. And I'm really extremely excited not to pay $79 for a pay-per-view. However, I want to see him, and I want to be able to see that 2-second punch that we all fell in love for 40 fights when he knocked 40 people out straight in the round.
The windmill.
There you go.
Hey, well, Kevin, what you asked for? Because you definitely got it. I mean, so 3 punches landed, and
one of them was the big kaboom. And it wasn't, and it was like a short, compact punch. It was just like he was
but when you think about it,
Helena's punch.
Well, Helena's was coming forward. I think he had thrown a body punch, and then he came back in, and that's like Wilder.
It was very short.
Wilder was being very cautious because he knew, and he after the interview he had said, I looked at his eyes and I knew that this guy wanted something. This guy wanted to be able to be recognized at the heavyweights. He wants an opportunity to be a champion. And I can't underestimate someone that's worked hard. So I have to be very cautious. And a lot of people that are like, oh, he ran like like Hopper calls it, like, the Tour de France. And listen, when you talk about the heavyweights and two guys that punches, you got to be very cautious. But we all know that within the boxing skills, Wilder is not up there. He's all about that.
Wow, breaking news.
I mean,
hater.
It's not hater. It's not hater, because when he demonstrates that, he gets in a lot of trouble. It happened in Fury. However, we wanted to be able to see that 2-second punch, and we were able to see it. And this gets things interesting at the heavyweight. But what I do like about Wilder is his state of mind. He came in completely a different person. First of all, he didn't come in with like 100 pounds when he walked in the ring. So I was positive. But I think the people he has surrounded himself, and he said it clearly, the people who surrounded himself give him a different vibe. Let's entertain ourselves. Let's have fun throughout this training camp. I think we forgot about the fundamentals and the basics of any kind of sports, is to have fun while you're training your ass off for a great potential fight. And he did just that. What? He couldn't go down to this. It don't matter. You're going to go in there not to get paid overtime to go to every round. You're going to go in there to try and knock him out and make a statement. And I think he did. He did just that. People love that 2-second punch. We did see it. And now bigger and better things are in the horizon for the heavyweights. And my boy Bruce Gas knows about it. He's a big, huge fan of the heavyweights. And guess what? Landscape's looking good. And we got future potential fights that we're willing to, unfortunately, pay for them, but it's going to entertain us.
Yeah, real quick on that. That was not a pay-per-view fight. So, again, for anybody that, shout out to anybody that bought that fight, man. I'm a brokey, so I feel your pain.
Save myself some money, man. I was watching Devin Haney anyway. So
really, that next. We're talking about the different mindset of Wilder. I think it's on full display here, and really listen to his words and the emotion coming from him as far as he's sharing what's important to him and how he feels about boxers and the boxing sport.
My heart goes out to him, and I hope he's doing okay. He could be able to go back to his family. People always go about worrying about records and all this. He lost, or he's a bum and all that. Well, you get your bum ass in there then. Yeah, it's a great knockout. It's devastating, making history and stuff like that. But how much that man gonna suffer? And we seeing what happened. Look at Cologne. Pritchard Cologne.
Yep.
Correct. This man ain't have no kids. They don't understand, man. Y'all don't fucking understand what we go through, man. And I don't even know him like that. But I always be an advocate for us because
Take your time.
this man would never know what it feel like to be somebody's father. And that's some of the precious thing in the world, to be somebody's father. But he'll never be nobody's father, man. This man will never have a natural childhood ability of living again because he got in the ring to support his family. But now, his family got to take care of him for the rest of his life.
All right, so
he had earned the hearts of many people, not only from that interview, but from even when he won the interview him in the ring. Amazing. And this is where he's gonna start. People are gonna start falling in love. That trash talking Wilder, that's gone. This is the focus, the mental guy, the guy that we wanted to see, the guy that can definitely continue and rejuvenate his career, and he has done so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, one thing about Wilder is that, yes, we make fun of his boxing technical abilities, but the man has never been shy about his emotions. He wears them on his sleeve, and that right there was pure, raw, and unfiltered Deontay Wilder. And I love that line that he said, and it's true, because boxing fans are always, very, very toxic in general. if somebody loses, oh, he's a bum, and I love Wilder's response: "Get your bum ass in there." There you go. That's exactly what I was leading up to. It's like, get your bum ass in there and fight. Like, so I think sometimes boxing fans take that for granted. These are people in there. They're human. They're going in there, putting their lives on the line, because it's true. You don't play boxing, man. We've seen so many people get seriously hurt. So many people have passed away from boxing, and that's why these guys, these warriors, these gladiators, they get the ultimate respect from me, man. Anybody that steps in that squared circle, squared ring, even if you're training, sparring, dude, that's something you don't play with, man. And I'm happy to see that for Deontay Wilder, man. That's raw and unfiltered emotion, man. We love that.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate the comment, Remy. Can't judge Wilder for that. No, not at all. And where that emotion was sparked from, because obviously we're making over it. The punch, that knocked out Haney, sent him to Valhalla. That he ran into. We mock it, but Wilder's showing a lot of guilt. Like, he feels guilt for knocking guys out like that. Think about it. He's a weapon. Like, if he hits you, he could kill you.
He could kill you.
He could kill you. So
and it wasn't. He said it, Hopper. It was like a little short kind of.
It wasn't even like a full.
It wasn't even his full power coming in with his full body. And he's just got compassion for it. And I just loved when I heard that interview touching on Pritchard Colon, and then he went really deep. Something I thought at one point, but I never really spoke about it. And it's the fact that you were not given an opportunity in life because you're sacrificing everything. Someone that could have been a champion in this stage right now, in this era. And all of a sudden he goes so deep into, like, he never got a chance to be a father. I mean, I looked at it, and I the first time I kind of cried. And right now I looked at it, got so emotional. And he's absolutely right. Right. And in the meantime, and I'm not condemning him, because sometimes there's so much trash talking and hate throughout the fight, but I'll shift it a little bit to the co-main event. Devastating knockout to Anthony Durrell, and the way planted him and buried him.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it took him a while. I get it. But sometimes you have to pull back a little bit from those emotions and all that trash talk and everything. He was bullied throughout the press conference, and you have to hold back because you don't know what's going on, right? With all of a sudden it was body punch, and on top of that, it was an amazing left hook, on to the, done. Took a while to get up. So great job, Wilder, for taking away that anger and that fury you had in the past, right?
No, so definitely. So on top
fury,
of
I see what you did there.
On words. So just real quick before we get on to planting Anthony Durrell into the ground.
Wow. Pun City this morning.
When it comes to the fighters, and us being the rabid fans we are, it's all about what's next after a great fight, after a performance. Even if it's not a great fight, what's next? Rematch, who they're going to fight next. This is a little bit of Wilder talking about who he ultimately wants to fight next, and we can give our thoughts, and love to hear from the chat.
Fight in the world for me, me and him. That's and that goes off of everywhere I go. I hear people, me and Josh. That's a good fight, and that's the #1 fight for them as well. For them. So, with that being said, if that's the #1 fight in the world for me to have, that's what I want.
All right, so he's
been
very, very, very vocal about, and after the fight, I know he said, Alexander Usyk, even mentioned Andy Ruiz, which I feel like that'd be super easy to make. But now by calling out AJ, and he's even gone on like the Breakfast Club and talked about like Al Heyman was ready to give, and we know Al Heyman's never to give anything, but
50 million
guaranteed, which we know that fight can make easily. What do you think, Hopper? What would you like?
Oh, sign me up, bro. I would love to see Wilder and AJ go at it, man. I'm still, that fight has no expiration date, man. Wilder and AJ, the build up to that main event will be awesome. Sign me up, bro. Sign me up. I know Josh was lost, But either way, that's still a fight that we kind of missed out on when it was happening. And if it's available and it's viable now, I think both guys could probably come to an agreement. They seem to be at a crossroads in their career, with Wilder and Fury losing to Fury, and then AJ losing to Usyk. So this one it'll be a true definition crossroads fight between AJ and Wilder. So their intrigue is still there, and then plus it's America and the UK, that whole rivalry deal. So I don't know, man. I see nothing but positive from this fight. Sign me up. Let's get it.
No, definitely. Man, could you imagine? So, Manny, what's your thoughts? And we talked offline about, we would do literally wouldn't miss anything, to miss this fight if it were to happen. Like the excitement, the level of excitement, these heavyweight fights that could still possibly be made. People don't realize, just the level of just pure boxing joy we would have.
Oh my goodness,
it'd be like unbelievable. Like if they announced that fight, it would just
we'd have a post-fight reaction video on that one. As soon as the fight was over, we jumped talk about it. Yo,
we said it before. The two biggest fights without a title belt, and with both of them losing, fights against champions, it would be Wilder and Joshua. Massive. Two guys that have the potential to knock each other out. I am concerned a little bit about Anthony Joshua. I don't think he's been the same after Andy Ruiz. Very vulnerable when he gets hit in the head.
Very weak-minded too. He seems like
a 2-second punch can truly damage that. I know that Wilder mentioned right after the fight that Usyk, whatever he wants to do, he wants to shot another title belt. Sometimes the biggest fights don't have to have a title on the line. Even Usyk had comment in his social media that he'd love to go down to cruiserweight and just grab a couple belts and then come back up. Yeah. Whatever he decides to do, Usyk's got the ball in his court. However, we shouldn't be thinking about that right now. A lot of people are excited. Let's get Usyk. Let's get Usyk. And honestly, I won't think that won't happen. In my eyes, I don't think so. I think Fury and Usyk, that might happen. But the reality is we want to see action back again. We have got to see them too. So there's another name that's been coming around lately, and that's Andy Ruiz. He earned a shot when he beat Luis Ortiz. And that will be a very good fight as well for Wilder. You got fast fast hands. You got chin on Ruiz. Maybe he's now focused. So I'd rather, for me, I do want to see Joshua. I think Joshua maybe trying to build something with Tyson Fury. Who knows? That's the big fight also that can be made. But if you ask me, my second option would be to see Andy Ruiz against Wilder. That will be a very, very interesting and good fight.
What about Wilder's right hand versus?
Nothing stops the juggernaut.
You just want to play that clip, man. You just want to play that clip.
I even set it up. I mean, I was thinking about it all night in the workout.
You set it up.
You got your chance.
Yeah. So,
Joe Joyce. He's talking about Joe Joyce.
He's the mandatory. I mean,
juggernaut.
But that's the thing, because Wilder is Wilder. I know that, shout out to our brother G Funk. He's like, oh man, he's just gonna jump. Yeah, he's gonna jump over everybody, and he's gonna get whatever fights he wants.
Popularity speaks.
That's popularity. Name of the game. And I'll be the first one to. And I'm anti pay-per-view, but that pay-per-view I would get. Like, I know a lot of people talk about the fight.
You didn't watch it last night.
Ooh, it's PBC boy over here. I'm gonna tell Al Heyman you didn't
watch it. Al Heyman's gonna fire you, bro. Delete.
Qué lindo, él dijo responde. ¡Ay, mierda!
He's gonna unfriend.
Yeah, I know.
Unfriend Sean El Gringo Hicks.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it happens. But no, seriously, it's good to see him back. I love seeing that emotion. And I mean, just imagine the guilt of. I mean, Helenius is his friend. I know that Harper would love to knock out Manny, but I'm sure he'd feel guilty afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not really. No, I don't think so.
All right, so the fight that no one wanted but everyone got. Haney versus Kambosos 2.
Okay, Haney won. Yes, let's move on.
I'm about to move on from this.
Same old, man.
For me, it was like a chapter, like a great what do you call that? A great movie, and then you get the second one, or maybe a show. You got first season, and it was okay, and then the second one is even worse. And then all of a sudden, people are really tuning into that. We all knew it was going to be the same.
So he knows.
Wow.
We all knew it was going to be the same. Yeah. The only difference is Kambosos started a little bit throwing
he
more
was a
punches
little
at the
more
beginning.
excited. Yeah, he came out a little faster, a little more aggressive, and then
Haney. I mean, I'll give it to him. He won. Everyone expected that. Man, I counted what 30 clinches, like in the first five. Hey, but I mean, I know Kambosos is not as the cleanest fighter as you've seen. He's a little bit dirty, and that's his style. But man, dude, I had to get away from ESPN. Sorry, Bob, and I had to tune into Plant and Darrell, which I'm glad I did because the 3 rounds that I watched from the
you didn't miss anything over here on that because I watched that whole Devin Haney fight, man, because we were at Boomer Jacks. We were doing our fantasy NBA draft, so they had it on, and we watched that whole fight, man.
Well, Haney fans, enjoy it. I mean, enjoy it until whatever.
I was doing my shameless plugs to anybody that would listen there about our Long Live Boxing. Check us out. Hey, I showed them my picture with Devin Haney. I go, yeah, I was taking the time to plug us in. So
no, definitely give us a shout
out. That's being supportive.
We appreciate that, man. So shout out to your fantasy NBA draft. And for anybody that's listening from that, we love you. We just met you, but we fell in love easily. So yeah, I want to go ahead and say, like, got that out the way. And
Get out the way. Get out the way.
So now Haney versus Lomachenko hopefully can happen next.
All right, so I just want to get the raw reaction because that's what we like on this show, and that's why people tune in. They want to see us. Manny, don't let him influence you. Don't worry about Hopper and how he's gonna respond. This is the first time, I never saw a banner before, and this is not even trying to cap. I never saw a banner before on a fight where ESPN, who promotes the fight, put the number of clinches that Haney had at 6 in the 5th round.
Well, ESPN is the master of random ass stats. So
he's leading in clinches.
I'm already counting that shit, and I'm like, why is he freaking clinching? Why again and again? I mean,
all right. So, Manny, sorry, I didn't mean to derail the show, but that's what I do sometimes. Right now, top of your head, that fight does get made because Jermaine Ortiz is he's up and coming young fighter. Respect to him, he's doing his thing, but I think Lomachenko is going to be too much for him. So with that fight, after that fight happens, and it does seem to make the planets align to where Lomachenko versus Devin Haney right now. Don't worry what Hopper's response is. Don't worry about the chat. How do you feel about your man Loma in that fight, brother?
Listen, that fight was supposed to happen, Loma and Kambosos. Loma had to take care of business, which we are so proud of him in trying to serve his country and participate in that nasty war. He's back, and he's back with a very tough opponent. I could be a little bit concerned and see how rusty he is, but I'm sure, when you have talent, and Loma does have talent.
Okay.
And you focus and work hard. And you're back at it, and your state of mind is a little different.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see a chance in Haney, to be honest.
You don't see a chance?
You don't see a chance?
Whoa!
12-0.
I really don't.
120,
I mean,
108.
I'm not disrespecting Haney at all. I just, right now, if they prove me wrong, I will come back here and I will do, I will say it, I will admit it. I will admit it. Look at Haney's last few opponents. That makes sense.
Hey,
I mean,
what's wrong with Jojo Diaz, man?
Let me tell you something. I want to see more Haney. I would love to see more of Haney.
By on all my boys.
And I keep saying it, and I keep saying it, and until they prove me wrong. Right now, when you have two individuals like these two guys, but you have Lomachenko, who has proven himself over and over and over. Yes, he got beaten by Teofimo, accepted, took it, moved on. But he has come back, and I think right now, when you match them both together, are we going to see a lot of clinching? Are we going to see a lot of stepping back? But keep in mind, Lomachenko is too fast. And I don't think Haney's has ever seen anyone as fast as Lomachenko with such a great footwork. Here I am. There I am. Can you see me? You see me not. And he doesn't stop throwing punches. If he's 100% mentally, if he's 100% focused and trained, first of all, he's got to bypass the next fight. I think we're going to see a great fight. I think we're going to see a potential for Haney shut people up like myself. I'm waiting for that. I want Haney to shut the fuck out of my mouth. I want it. I want it. And I'll say
what
it
to your mouth?
clearly.
Where I'm coming from, because it's mind-boggling to you, yeah.
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready for that. Hey, it's a G-rated show, bro. Whatever you want. All right, so there it is. Manny, 120, 108, Lomachenko over Haney.
That was
nice.
Well, not 120, 108.
That was
119, 109.
No. I think it'll probably. I'll give Haney.
That was phenomenal. I wasn't ready, man.
And the undisputed clincher.
Oh man! All right, so that's
nice.
I love you, Haney fans. I just love to give you bull.
You know what that
I
means?
love to give you crap.
We got the Hopper response.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Let's go!
Oh, hey, it's no secret, man. I like Devin Haney. I like his style. His clinching sometimes be a little too much, but hey, the name of the game is hit and don't get hit. I like Haney, and I give him more than a chance against Lomachenko. I think he's I'm going to disagree with you, Manny. I think Haney is probably just as fast as Lomachenko. His hand speed is not to be underestimated with. I think Devin Haney is very skillful. He's taller. He's probably going to be the heavier fighter. The only concern is, can Devin Haney still make weight at 135 because safe? Because if you look at some of the pictures or the weigh-ins and everything, Haney did look a little.
He looked like a Walking Dead extra.
Yeah, he's looking a little too big for that division. So that's probably the only concern. But other than that, I give Devin Haney a great chance to beat Lomachenko. I think when fighters like Devin Haney, when they're given tough opposition, I think that's when they shine more. That's when their full arsenal is on display, when they're forced to show it. I think Devin Haney we'll get the decision over Lomachenko if that fight ever happens. I'll give it to Devin Haney. He's not going to knock him out, of course not, but it's going to be a decision over Lomachenko. I think Haney's the goods. He's peaking right now at the perfect time. I think Lomachenko's probably a little battle tested, a little shop worn. You know, he's been in a lot of fights. Haney's peaking, man. He's young. He's just as fast. Probably just as skillful. I'll give Devin Haney more than a little more chance than Manny does.
All right. I love it. And I love a lot of things, but nothing can last forever. Even this time with you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Let's get to final thoughts. Hopper.
Final thoughts. Hey, hopefully everybody supported the women's boxing event, man. We need those numbers to shine and spike. Support the women. I'm still on the fence about adding more time to them because I don't know, man. Sometimes you just tinker with something. Maybe an additional 30 seconds probably benefit them both. But hopefully everybody tuned in. We saw two great fights, high level fighters, some of the best women's boxers in the game today. Some of the matches that could be made without the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano rematches, those were probably the biggest fights that could be made in women's boxing. So hopefully everybody tuned in. Shout out to the UK for supporting it with 20,000 strong, but not shout out to the UK for booing the US anthem, man. F you guys. That's uncalled for.
Well said, man. As always, on point. Manny.
First of all, I have to shout out and congratulate our boy, El Tocayo, Manny Rodriguez. He did it. Beat the odds.
Beat Russell.
All right. The sad thing about it is a couple things. Now, I'm going to say this in Spanish because although most Puerto Ricans speak English, I want to say it in Spanish. Ya es tiempo de dejar el odio contra todas aquellas personas que han trabajado fuerte y han logrado obtener ese trofeo que todo el mundo busca en el deporte del boxeo, que lo es un campeón mundial. Cuando tú eres destacado un campeón mundial, es porque has trabajado, has luchado, has hecho lo necesario para poder lograrlo. Y mucha gente lo ha criticado. ¿A quién se ganó él para poder ser campeón? Se ha ganado a bastantes, como Maloney. Se ganó a Butler, que Butler supuestamente mucha gente dice que le va a ganar al monstruo. Por supuesto, peleó con el monstruo, fue derrotado, tuvo otra pelea, fue derrotado, y aquí regresó nuevamente, and he proved that he could be at that top level, where everyone else was thinking that he was washed out, that he was just not a name, that he was lucky to be right? On the right spot, on the right time to capture a world belt, go back and do your due diligence because those were great opponents. Pero por encima de eso, no es el odio de los mismos puertorriqueños contra un ex campeón mundial que puede ser otro nuevo campeón. El odio también sigue contra las promotoras, contra la gente que quiere proteger a sus fighters. Anoche vimos lo que otra vez pasó en la primera pelea. Another headbutt. A devastating one. Something that is, Wilder talked about it. Manny is a family guy. Wilder talked about Prisha Colon. That could have been devastating. And at that time, the house fighter was being protected, right? Okay, he proved him wrong. He took a counter punch and took that left straight hand and almost put to sleep Gary Russell. But on top of that, we're still protecting our house fighter. They gave him extra time. He deserves an extra minute. He needs some rest. And even Manny Rodriguez, a former world champion, doesn't even get an interview. I guarantee you, if Russell would have beat Manny, he would have gotten an interview. He would have gotten a lot of accolades, and nothing of that happened. This is the crap shit that happens with all these promoters. You got to wait until a catastrophe or something happened like Preacher Colon to give her some attention. Boricua, vamos a darle atención a Manny Rodríguez porque el tipo la cría boricua. Y los dejo con este último mensaje que lo dijo él en las redes sociales. Fueron muchos meses alejados de mi familia y mis seres queridos. Mi familia, mis padres, mis hijos. Habían días fríos y la altura allá en México, which he trained in Mexico, me hacía darme cuenta lo afortunado que somos cuando tenemos el calor de los nuestros. Le doy gracias a Dios, salimos con la victoria y todo el sacrificio valió la pena. Abracen su familia. Díganle en cuánto los ama, porque yo también los amo a ustedes. Same message as Wilder. Same message I tell you guys. Love each other, care for each other, y pasa tu vida en vivo.
Man, well, so yeah, quick translation.
Wilder over there, very emotional,
man. Very, I love it. I love the passion. So just real quick translation for the Gringos, man. He just kind of sum it up for Damian Lillard and me. Just real quick. What
he says, love thy neighbor and love yourself and love
everybody. Do that. I always love myself.
Damian Lillard understood that. My bad. I didn't draft you last night, bro. But
what?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He understands. All right. So what I want you guys to understand is that nothing is more valuable than time, and that's what we love spending with you guys. We don't end your week. We begin your week, and we want you guys to have the best weekend. Can't wait for another great week. This was an amazing weekend of boxing. It's the beginning of greatness for the women, and we believe that bigger and better things are going to come for them, and we're excited to be a part of it and watch the journey as they go on and ascend to greatness. And we appreciate you guys each and every week as you guys take time out of your day to join us, whether it's live in the chat. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you guys, or it's later on in the archive. Much love, or listening to the audio version. And like I said, it's been a great one, and we'll see you next week. We out.
Long Live Boxing, you know, they're awesome supporters of our show every Wednesdays. Please, everybody, go follow them.
EnVivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it should be.